Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. This is PSR Live, well, almost live. This is a race that we did on Friday, but unfortunately for something urgent I got called away for on Friday. I only managed to get back to my PlayStation literally 10 minutes before the race started. I missed the practice, I very nearly missed the qualifying, but I didn't have time to set up the stream. So because I didn't stream this one, a lot of people have asked me to do a commentary on it. And this is going to be that race. It is the TCSRL race against PSR, the third race I believe that we have done. We're in the GR2 cars around Yamigawa. So let's get into this one and see, first of all, who the racers were. So on pole position, we have got Jacoby in the Lexus. He is in the white, pink and black livery car, different to most of them on the track. Another car that is slightly different is Welsh Boy, who lines up in second on the grid in the Lexus. So that's Jacoby and also Welsh Boy for PSR. The first of the TCSRL racers will be Lag. I can't pronounce his full name. You're going to see it in the race, but I will be referring to him as Lag. He is in the NSR. We sweep across to pick up Greg, who is going to be in the Lexus racing for PSR, the number 11 car, in fourth on the grid. Fifth lines up Rita St. James, who is the host of TCSRL. She's lining up in the NSR as well. Behind another Honda NSR, and that is going to be Kato in the Shell NSX. Behind Kato, we have Wills, a new racer for PSR. He has opted for the Lexus and lines up in seventh on the grid. Eighth, we have got Mr. Exile in the number 32 car. Again, another TCSRL Honda. You're starting to see the difference between the two liveries. TCSRL in red and yellow, and primarily PSR in black and green. Then we have got Hippie lining up in ninth on the grid, in front of Gamer Dan, who is in the GTR. Hippie just being in the Honda, the NSX, another one. We got Gamer Dan lining up in the GTR. He's in the Willie livery. So Willie created that livery for us, one that I really like. And I love the liveries here. We've got this one from Willie, and we've got also the Hulky Racing livery. Now, I line up on 11th on the grid. And again, this is the livery that Holgi put together. Drak Fury also put some liveries together for us. I can't thank the TCSRL guys because I don't know who did theirs. But Sergeant Chaos lines up in 12th on the grid in another Honda. So the TCSRL guys definitely going for this Honda car. 13th, we have Old Timer. He's in number 19. And then we got Drak Fury in another GTR. He did his own livery here. This is slightly different. It's more of a white and then black and green. But he's in the GTR, and I have some fun and games with him on track during the race while we are dicing. And then we have got Kuznetsov, who gets referred to as Dong. He's known as Dong at TCSRL. He's lining up in 15th, again in the NSX. And the last of the racers is our friend Borky for PSR in the NSX. So those are your runners. They are all on the grid and ready to go. I can see that the marshals are just getting a few last bits and pieces ready. The green flag is about to go, and we will be racing at the third TCSRL versus PSR race in the GTR cars at Kyoto Driving Park. We're going to be at Yamigawa. The lights are about to go green. Let's join the race and see how this one unfolded. So we're here. We've got 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we are hold and we are go at Kyoto Driving Park, Yamigawa. It is Jacoby leading the field away as we come down into the first fast left-hander. Jacoby just sweeps across in front of, I think that was Welsh Boy, which has dropped him down into third place. But Jacoby does get into the S's ahead of the pack. It is going to be Jacoby, Lag, Welsh Boy, Greg White, Rita St. James, Then we got Kato in 6th, Mr. Exile in 7th. Oh, Kato just making a move on Rita there. But we're just on board with Jacoby. Oh, we got a crash in the back there. We'll be joining up with that one in a moment just to have a look at the replay. But it is Jacoby out in front at the moment. He's just stretching his legs and creating a small gap between Lag and Welsh Boy. And I think we've got Greg White in 4th just behind. As we come over the top to come down to the tight hairpin, it is going to be, oh, we have got a caution that has been called. I didn't mention the caution, so all of the cars now slow down to 60 miles an hour. That gives the cars at the back that got into that incident an opportunity to catch up. So that car going off, clearly 2 cars that came together. Basically in the TCSRL races, if 2 cars come together, then one of them can throw a caution. That means everybody bunches up and we will start racing again. If somebody drops it on their own and has a crash, they just call out solo, and it's just basically a solo accident, something on their own, and everybody just continues racing. But clearly there was a couple of cars that came together. Let's have a look at those right now, whilst we're just waiting for these cars to circulate around and for the caution to start again. So we're just watching all of the cars getting onto the fast straights, and we are going to be going racing in just a moment. We're waiting for the race coordinator to call it. We are with Jacoby. He's just keeping it at 62 at the moment. And when is he going to drop the accelerator and we go racing again? Everybody is bunched up at the moment. You can see it's just holding that 64, 65 miles an hour at the moment. We normally hold around about 60, but we're just waiting to go. Everybody just bunching up now. It looks like it may well happen through the S's. It is. We are now green and we are running again. Jacoby bearing the throttle, just catching Lag out, I think, a little bit there. Obviously, I don't have any deltas in the replay. I normally have those when I'm doing these live, so forgive me, but I would say he's probably a good probably 2 or 3 tenths of a second ahead at the moment. But Lag just putting 2 wheels in the grass as he tries to distance himself from Welsh Boy. So at the moment it's Jacoby out front, Lag 2nd, Welsh Boy in 3rd, Greg White 4th, Kato 5th, and Rita in 6th. The rest follow behind. You could see that Lag now just closing up on Jacoby as we go into the tight hairpin, as they come out right in the curves beautifully down the hill. And then we are going to do the little chicane where quite a lot of people run out wide onto the grasses. Jacoby does there. He's just dropped the place. That's let Lag through. Just as I was saying, that is a corner that catches a lot of people out. The alien that is Jacoby lets the TCSRL alien through, and Lag will come across the line being in 1st place to start lap number 2 out of this 30-minute, oh, it's an hour-long race. It's not a 30-minute race. This is an hour-long race, this one. I need to check my notes more frequently, but it is Lag out front from Jacoby. We're just watching Welsh Boy, our Welsh Dragon at the moment, just coming through the S's. As you can see, these top group, just a small amount of gapping between them now. Probably about half a second between each of these cars. We're going really nicely as we sweep around the fast left-hander down the hill into the tight chicane. Again, this is one where some people will jump across the grass. You can see there are some grass tracks, and just in the background there, Greg White, as I said, that took a little bit too much of the grass. He's dropped back now into 6th, 7th, dropping back like crazy. Where is he? I can't even find him at the moment. He's in 7th place. It's Al Greg has dropped back to 7th at the moment. You could see that Lexus just a little bit squirrely on the back end under acceleration there. He has resumed now in 8th place. He's not frightened of the grass though, as Old Timer puts a wheel on the grass there. Oh, when he loses it, spins around. Old Timer just with a wheel on the grass there. He hooked up on the curb and he just sucked him in. He's going to resume in 16th and last, behind Wills, who's running in 15th. We've got Borky in 14th, who just dives into the pits. So Borky is going to be the first of the pit stoppers. He is on the soft tyre at the moment. His crew waiting for him. He dives into the pits. The pit guys go to work. So we do have to run the soft tyres in this particular race. So he's going to come out. Oh, I think he's got a pit lane penalty as well into the bargain. Oh, Borky running last at the moment, but he has done his change. A lot of the other guys will need to be changing their tyres too. Just talking about tyres at the moment, out front we've got Lag, who is running on the racing soft tyres, and you can see how those racing soft tyres do wear away. Well over half worn on the right hand side. We've got Jack Kobe also started on the racing soft tyres. His are in a very similar position, so we could see a lot of pit stops coming up in just a moment. Welsh Boy is on the softs also, as is Hippie, Exile, Greg White, Rita. Looks like most people are on those tyres. Gamer Dan is on the hard. He's opted to start on the hard tyres, but probably going long. Dong there on the grass as well, managing to gather it up. We just saw in the background there. Dong is on the racing soft tyres. Drak Fury throwing the dice. He's gone for the medium tyres here as we get another person pit stopping. That is Greg into the pits. He's going to be taken off his soft. A few actually diving in now. We've got Greg White, Sergeant Chaos, Old Timer, Kato, all into the pits as the pit guys go to work. So at the moment, we'll have a look at their tyres in just a moment, see what they've jumped onto. I'm going to imagine they're now on the hard tyres. But we have got Lag out front as he goes down the hill with these beautiful shots in Gran Turismo. Takes the chicane beautifully there. That's what I refer to as the long chicane. We're now going to come down to the tight hairpin, using all of the curb there. Lag is. Jack Kobe just trying to hang on to the back of the Nissan in front. Nissan versus Lexus at the moment. What is the tyre differential going to be? We can see that the tyres are completely gone on Lag's car, and well, the Lexus is in exactly the same position. So we're going to have our leaders coming in, I think, because Welsh Boy is low on tyres, as is Hippie. So I think we're going to get a big old run, a big dash to the pits. We are. Lag is in, Kobe's in, Welsh Boy is in, Hippie is also, looks like he is coming in. Everybody's piling into the pits. The pits are going to be super busy at the moment. We've got Mr. Exile in, Rita's in, Dong is in, Wills has gone around, so oh, he's just going to come out in traffic. I was thinking he might have been ahead of the pack, but he's not. He just comes out ahead of Jack Kobe that was running in second, but Lag has pulled a blinder here and he's come out towards the front of that pack. He's just got Welsh Boy, Drak Fury and Gamer Dan ahead of him at the moment. So we've got Gamer Dan is out in front at the moment in the GTR. We've got Drak Fury also in a GTR, slightly behind. Gamer Dan opted for the racing hard tyres, so plenty of life left in those. Drak Fury opted for the mediums, which personally I think is an interesting choice. We did talk about these, and he is going to need to run the SOS at some point, but you can see the difference between the tyres on Gamer Dan and Drak Fury's car. Drak really burning out that front tyre at the moment, probably got not much more than a lap or so of running on that tyre. And then we've got Welsh Boy who dived into the pits. He's on a fresh set of mediums and going very nicely. He will be able to see the guys in front. He will also know that he has got the leader behind him. So going well is Welsh Boy. He did pit. The times that a lot of the slower tyres have been running, a 124, mostly 124 for Gamer Dan on the hards. Drak Fury again 124s on the mediums, so not a lot between the medium and the hard tyres for this one. And if we just jump down to have a look at, well, let's have a look at Lag, who was our leader. He's on the racing mediums now. We didn't go for the hards. He's gone soft and medium. He's running, well, let's have a little look. We'll follow him round and we'll have a look at his lap times at the end of this race, because obviously the red one was the out lap, 125, which is still a stonkingly good out lap. I would imagine on the racing medium tyres he's going to be doing 123s, I would expect. And we've got Jack Kobe on the hards you know, maybe for their skill level 123s, 124s. I'm guessing here we will find out what those lap times are going to be like as we come around to the final part of this track. We're going to be doing the right hand. It's another tight one, but it's normally a second gear corner as you come off here, barrel the accelerator, and then up and over the start finish line, as I think that was Jack Fury jumping into the pits there to lose those tyres. And we got Welsh Boy and Lag looking to make a move on Welsh Boy into the first corner. Can he make that stick around the outside? It looks like he's going to have to drop in behind for the curves here. Yeah, the little S's, curves, whatever you want to call them. He's right on the back bumper of Welsh Boy now, pushing as we go over the top of the hill and down, down, down. This one goes down into this really tight left-hander where if you can get it right, you can hook your inside wheels up on the curb there like you can on the first corner and really, really pull the car around. And then it's steep downhill as we sweep through the fast chicane. Lag still right on the back of Welsh Boy. Gamer down out front at the moment, but I think the down may well need to stop. And as I said, Lag into the 123s now, a 123.0. So he's going to be hitting the 122s, I would suspect, as the fuel burns off. Welsh Boy's tyres still looking absolutely brilliant. The fuel situation in this one, Lag on half a tank and Welsh Boy on half a tank as well. So it looks like these guys are playing the fuel game where they aren't going to completely fill their tank in the fuel stop. They're just going to put enough fuel in to last them for the laps that they need to do. Gamer Dan out front at the moment in that a GTR, just putting a tyre on the grass there, but nothing to worry about. He's going really well, nice and smooth as we go through the back end of the S's. We're going to go down the hill now. Look out for that braking zone. He doesn't quite pick up the inside of the curve through that corner, but he's still going well out front. I would say probably by about a second or so with Welsh Boy behind. Then we've got Lag. Jack Kobe's fallen off the back of this one a little bit at the moment. He looks, I don't know quite what the distance is. I don't know what's happened to Jack Kobe, but he's certainly lost touch with the leaders at the moment. And then we've got Greg a little bit further back. So at the moment we've got a 4-car race at the front. We've then got Greg, who is running in a little bit of fresh air on his own at the moment. And then behind we have got a banger of a race coming up. We have got Rita ahead of Wheels Racing, who is ahead of Exile and Drat Fury just off the back of this one. Oh, Wheels just getting it really sideways on the curb there. That is going to enable a little bit of a gap up to open up to Rita, but also to enable Mr. Exile to close up as well. So in this little group, can Mr. Exile get it done for TCSRL and jump the PSR Racer? As we head into the first corner, can any of those hook up the curb and sweep it around? Looks like Mr. Exile is going to get that one done. He does. Beautiful corner there. It looks like Wheels might have gone just a little bit wide as we went through that corner. Drat Fury has taken the place as well. So it's now Rita in 6th, just ahead of Exile in 7th. Drat Fury in 8th, and Wheels just recovering just off the back of this little group that we've got running at the moment. There is another group a little bit further back, which is Kato, Sergeant Chaos and Hippie. So this is a TCSRL group, a little trio that are going really well. Kato looking for a move down the inside there, but it is going to be Sergeant Chaos, Hippie and Kato as they go through the fast chicane and we come down to the tight hairpin. Not a lot between these three guys. Mr. Hippie looking for a way around the outside of Sergeant Chaos. I'm wondering whether there might be some team orders or some team play going on in there as Sergeant Chaos just resumes into the middle of these three. Oh, Kato off onto the grass there a little bit. He does manage to hold it together and he is going to drop back a little bit, but still running very, very nicely at the moment. Old Timer in 13th. We've got Borky in 15th at the moment. I'm running in 15th on the hard tyres. And then we've got Dong in 16th at the moment for TCSRL. And we've got Kato and Drat Fury that just jumped into the pits. Kato on the medium tyres, Drat Fury on is jumping onto the softs, onto the racing hards there. So he's just dropped his, I don't know what tyres he was on. I think it was on softs at that point. But he's gone on to the racing hards. Kato sitting in the pits, looking like he's doing a fuel stop there. He's actually taken on a full tank of fuel, has Kato, and gone for the hard tyres. So he's looking for a long run in this one. It is Welsh Boy out front at the moment. He's done a 1:22.6, his fastest lap at the moment, but now back into the 1:23s with a 1:23.1 and a 1:23.5. Just behind, Jack Kobe has managed to get himself up into second place. So we've missed a little bit of action on track somewhere. Maybe we'll pick that up in a replay. But Jack Kobe has managed to get himself ahead of Lag. And yeah, look, using all of the curbs through there at the moment. But those two guys look pretty much stuck together right now. Jack Kobe running for PSR, even though he's not in the PSR colours. I don't know who gave him permission to run pink, but we'll be having some words later on. You can be sure, especially if he doesn't win. Maybe if he wins, we'll let him off. But if he doesn't, oh, we'll be having some words. Lag in the TCSRL colours. He is a team player. Oh, as I say that, Jack Kobe must have been listening. He's all over the curb there, and the back of that Lexus all over the place, giving Lag the opportunity just to close up just a little bit onto the back of Jack. And you can see as Jack gets that Lexus up onto the curbs, it's almost like the car is bottoming out and it wants to go left, right, left, and Jack Kobe just gathering it up. And that is giving Welsh Boy the opportunity just to gap the two behind at the moment. So it is Welsh Boy out front, probably by about 4/10, I would guess, at this stage, with Lag not much more than 1 or 2 tenths behind Jack Kobe at the moment as they come around to start the next lap and go through these beautiful, beautiful S's. Welsh Boy is going really, really well. Let's just jump on board with him at the moment. I'm going to do this for you here. You just see the steering inputs, how smooth he is through that really, really fast left-hander. As you come down the hill, you can see the undulations hard on the brakes. He's going to pick up the curb on the inside, the curb on the inside again, and the curb on the inside again. It's 1, 2, 3, and then we power up the hill, and then we're going to be looking across for this hairpin bend. He's diving to the apex of the hairpin bend. Some people go long and will cut back to carry the speed down this hill. Others will dive to the inside, especially when you've got a car behind. He's got Jack Kobe behind him. It's going to be going really, really fast as well. And Welsh Boy, well, he's looking like he's got this well under control at the moment. Jack Kobe, this is Jack's view from inside his car. You can see Welsh Boy heading. You can just see Welsh Boy dive into the pits, and that promotes Jack Kobe into the lead. And Lag is also in. So we've got Welsh Boy and Lag both on the medium tyres. They are both in for their pit stops. So that is going to enable Jack Kobe to just get a little bit of free air on his own. And Greg is in free air also as Greg comes round to negotiate the S's here. We can see the Sergeant Chaos is in to lose his hard tyres too. So it looks like the hard tyre racers are also coming in. But you can see that Greg White has got the fuel flashing at the moment. He is going to have not much more, well, only the remainder of this lap before it will be time for him to jump in. Jack Kobe out on track now on the racing hard tyres. His fuel's looking okay at the moment, and it looks like he's probably got a lap or so in those tyres, so he can make some good time on the low fuel at the moment. Greg, on the other hand, very low fuel, and he's going to be having to come in to replace those tyres very soon. I don't know whether he's going to go on to another set of racing hard tyres, Jack Kobe did go for the racing hard. We'll see what Greg jumps onto in just a moment. He must have to come in. We've got Hippie behind, who's on very, very worn out mediums as well, but quite a fair bit of fuel in that car. And as we go around the final corner, I can see that Greg White is lining it up to come into the pits. So he is going to be losing his hard tyres. We'll have a look and see what he goes on to in a moment. I'm going to imagine that Hippie is going to need to jump into the pits too. Whoa, a little bit of a sideways bit of action there, but he does jump into the pits. He's going to lose his mediums. And Greg just having a fuel fill at the moment. You can see that filler just rising, rising, rising. Is he going to come out at around about half a tank? Most of the guys putting around about 10 laps or so of fuel in. Or is he going to fuel long? It looks like this is a long fuel fill for Greg White. Hippie also having the fuel going in at the moment. And Greg not quite full, but a fair old amount of fuel that's got into there. As is Hippie, a similar amount of fuel. Greg White on the hards. Hippie on the racing mediums at this point. They're back in 10th and 11th, but that is only because the pit order has mixed things up just a little bit. Jacoby now, he's on his lap 15, if I'm not mistaken, and fuel running low. He's going to be diving into, he's going to go around again. He is going to be pushing the fuel to fumes, it looks like, on that as he crosses the line. The fuel gauge glowing red, but he has got another lap of racing hard tyres in that car. So it's going to be very interesting to see where he comes out in this one, with Kobe on very worn tyres and Welsh Boy chasing with plenty of fuel on very, very, very good tyres. Very little wear on the racing mediums for this. So Welsh Boy has clearly gone for a medium stint in this one. Looks like he's just recently pitted, and it's a big debate in this race as to whether you go racing mediums or racing hards. It's big old debate we had on the PSR Discord. I don't know about the TCSRL guys. Some of us decided to go softs hards, others went softs mediums, and even some people started on different tyres. I remind you, everybody's got to run the soft tyre in this, but just on board with Welsh Boy at the moment. Not too many battles really going on at the moment. Everything is all sort of spaced out. We've got Lag running in third, and obviously I can't be calling out the lap time differences or the deltas because they're just too big at the moment. But I would say, a good 3 or 4 seconds behind. You can probably count that down using the track map in the top right hand corner. Normally I'm doing these live as Jack Kobe does dive in the pits for a new set of boots and the fuel going in. So will Welsh Boy be able to get through, around and out and ahead of Jack Kobe before he leaves the pits? Is Jack Kobe watching Welsh Boy to gauge his fuel just to pick up and run with Welsh Boy? No, Jack Kobe still sitting in the pits as Welsh Boy goes through to start lap number 16. Lag also on lap number 16 now. He's in second place. So we've got Welsh Boy out front, and you can see he is in a world of his own at the moment, doing 122s and then a 123.1, the fast lap, the last lap for Welsh Boy. Setting a purple there, so he's clearly pushing and enjoying those medium tyres, just hooking up the inside of the curb there to drag the car around as Lag takes a more wider line through that corner, and also wide on the exit there using all of the curb. Lag on the racing mediums here. He did a short fill as well, just half a tank of fuel here, so he's playing the fuel game, just filling enough for the number of laps he can do. Probably, I would guess, about 10 or 11 laps on that one. The NSX I was getting about 9 or 10, I think, in my car, but it is Welsh Boy, Lag, Jack Kobe. We've got Gamer Dan just chasing Jack Kobe at the moment, so this could develop into a bit of a race at the moment. We've got Jack Kobe on brand new racing hards and Dan on half-worn racing hard tyres at the moment. Plenty of fuel in those cars, so it's all going to be down to the fuel for this one. Jack Fury running in 5th at the moment. He's in the sort of more white colour than the dark colour car. That was how I knew that he was coming up behind me when he was really quick and I was slow. He's on the racing hard tyres now. About 3/4 worn. Oh, sorry, about about 2/3 worn, just over half worn. I'm getting ahead of myself here at the moment as he's going around the first corner with Mr. Exile just behind for company. Mr. Exile probably about a second or so behind, and then just behind we've got Rita with Greg White. These two have been having some wonderful battles recently in some of our lobby races. Rita often races in the PSR races, our lobby races, but also Greg has been racing in Rita's TCSRL races. Real tongue twister when you're trying to commentate and keep an eye on what is going on. But these two have had some really great battles, and it looks like another great battle going on here. Rita really good at the defending. She drives us all crazy from time to time, but at the moment Greg just settling in, and looks like he might just be reeling in by a tenth or two through some of these corners. And is he going to go for a move at some point? Let's just go on board with Greg White. We'll use the what I refer to as the bonnet cam. Some people call it the roof cam. We'll be able to see Greg just chasing down Rita at the moment. Remember Greg getting it right up onto the grass at times. I'm just looking at the track map as well at the moment. This is the close battle. There's a couple of other battles which we'll pick up on in just a moment after a check-in with the leaders. But at the moment it looks, I was going to say like Rita had got it done, but Greg just closing up on the exit of that corner. Got a nice slipstream as we go through the S's here. Sweeping through these in 6th gear, flat on the accelerator. Are we going to change down as we go into this car? No, Greg is going to be holding that 6th, not actually hooking up the curb there. I tended to go through there in 5th and try and hook up, but that is the difference between the faster and the slower racers. Rita buries the brake pedal. Greg buries the brake pedal. Rita threading it through the curbs nicely. Greg dancing all over them, and as you can see, just falling back again. Oh, he's let Hippie through. Hippie has gone through. A nice little move there by Hippie. We might drop back and just have a little look and see how that move shaped up as well in a moment. But Greg back to 9th place at the moment. Kato in 10th, and looking ahead, he is in space of his own, but he's been chased by Sergeant Chaos just behind an old timer. These three have been running very close together for most of this race, if I am not mistaken. But there's around about a second, I would say, between these at the moment. Maybe a second, just over a second. And then we've got Wills, who's just coming down. Oh, keep it out of the grass, my friend. He did. That was nicely done. He's running in 13th at the moment. And I am in 14th. Looks like we've done a pit stop just recently. And then we've got Borky in 16th. And Dong bring up the rear at the moment. We've got a couple of pit stops going on. Kato is in and Drap Fury in again for more hard tyres, it looks like. But at the moment out front it is Welsh Boy. Now Welsh Boy in the practice absolutely lit up the track in the PSR practice. This wasn't the practice with TCSRL. Obviously I don't know how their practice went because I was not in the room. But Welsh Boy, I think he monstered most of us by about 20 seconds for that race. So he's settling in really, really nicely at the moment. Lag in second, and he can't even see Welsh Boy as he goes into the first corner. Welsh Boy exiting as Lag is entering. We've got another move for position here. It looks like Jack Kobe just doing a move on Gamer Dan. So we've got Jack Kobe in 3rd now, and we've got Gamer Dan in 4th. So that is another move for position, I believe. And we have got Gamer Dan chasing down Jack Kobe, but Jack getting on with this one at the moment. Gamer Dan on very, very, very worn hard tyres. So I imagine that that was probably a mutual swapping of positions there. Jack Kobe on the hard tyres, but just recently pitted. So His tyres looking absolutely great as he goes over the top and down the hill. He'll just be able to see Lag, I think, negotiating the hairpin. Lag at the moment, is he closing up on Welsh Boy? It really doesn't look like it too much. I'm going to stay on board with Lag at the moment and just see where Welsh Boy and Lag are as they go into the first corner. So Lag is just going to be going down the straight as Welsh Boy goes over the start finishing line. So Welsh Boy entering that first curve, and yep, Lag and Welsh, one at the end, one at the beginning of that corner. It's pretty much even running at the moment. I think Welsh Boy's got this very nicely under control in the Lexus. Absolutely beautifully turned out car in the Castrol livery. He's going to head down the hill. How much of the curbs does he take? How much of the grass does he take as we go through these corners? He's keeping it all tidy on the way in and just dropping a wheel into the dirt on the way through there. Welsh Boy going very nicely at the moment. Lag in fresh air, as is Jack Kobe now. Behind in fourth we've got Gamer Dan and Rita just behind him. So the battle between Rita and Greg White continues on track. And then just a little bit further back we've got Sergeant Chaos and Hippie. So it looks like was it Old Timer that was running with these two? It looks like he may well be on a different strategy now, or something has happened. But for the moment, it is Sergeant Chaos in 7th and Hippie in 8th. I thought Hippie might have just gone a little bit wide there, but all good as they sweep down to this tighter of the two chicanes. A lot of cars you can see there have been choosing the grass on the way through. It's turning to brown mud now. Pretty much all of the grass ripped up and gone. Gamer Dan in the pits for his stop. He's losing the hard tyres, and Rita is in as well. So that is potentially going to free up Greg White, who continues around in 4th place now. So a lot of people in the pits. We've got Rita, Sergeant Chaos, Hippie, Gamer Dan, all pitting. Most of those guys opting for the racing hard tyres now. And I was watching Welsh Boy because I thought he must be getting low on fuel and tyres, and boy oh boy he is. He's got next to no tyre left on the right hand front. Almost completely red, and you can see there he's struggling under acceleration at that corner. Almost dropped it as he dives into the pits. And racing mediums are going to be shod, and then it will be he'll be getting rid of those, and it'll be what's going on. Looks like a set. Oh, very long stop, I think, coming up. He's gone on to the racing mediums rather than the racing hards. Lag is also in. He's looks like he's opted for the racing mediums. Not quite sure on the fuel here. Long fuel stops. The guy's pushing on the fuel Bowser there to try and get that in. So racing medium tyres, 3/4 of a tank for Dan, and pretty much the same for Lag. So we've got an even fight now between those guys. Out front it is Jack Kobe. He's on the racing hard tyres, burnt through half of his tyre already and burning through about half of the fuel that he put in. So Jack Kobe going quite nicely at the moment, thank you very much. And a fair old chunk of distance back to Greg White that is in 2nd at the moment. But again, Greg is going to have to come in and pit very soon. He's got plenty of fuel, but those tyres looking pretty ugly at this point in the race. Welsh Boy obviously just pitted, no fuel or tyre worries at the moment. He is going to be pushing on. So just looking at the lap times at the moment, Jack Kobe setting 120, low 123s on reasonably decent tyres. Greg, 123s and 124s as his racing hard tyres go away from him. Welsh Boy has been running 123s leading up to the pit stop. We won't know what he's going to be until afterwards, but I imagine it's going to be back into the 123s for Welsh Boy. Lag also on his isn't his outlap. His outlap, no, his in-lap was a 159. His outlap he's just doing, so that is going to be a slower lap, 125.8. But he's been doing 122s, 123s on his tyre, chasing down Kobe, who's doing 123s, 124 for the for lap 24, so a slightly slower run for Kobe there. And Greg White is running in 123s, 124s. Welsh Boy, he'll be back in the 123s. So yeah, Lag pushing on at the moment. Gamer Dan, he's been running fairly comfortably 124s on the racing hard tyres and is immediately back into the 124s now on lap 24. Drac Fury on the racing hard tyres at the moment. He's in space of his own. Mr. Exile also on the hards. He's running 124s at the moment, with Rita chasing him down at the moment. One of the few battles that are on track at the moment in this one. But he's on racing hard tyres, just over half a tank of fuel. Likewise, Rita, slightly more fuel in her car, but the tyre position fairly similar between those two. And we've got Mr. Exile, Rita and Hippie for TCSRL all running together at the moment. Mr. Exile in 7th, Rita 8th and Hippie in 9th. As Greg White does dive in the pits to get rid of those hard tyres. We'll catch up with the leaders in the moment and just see how they are running. But at the moment I'm just enjoying watching these three TCSRL racers running. Hippie, I believe, is running in VR. Not entirely sure. You can see Rita with the mouse on the front of her car, normally on the back as well. There it is. If we just go on board with Mr. Exile, then you'll be able to see the mouse with the little "don't get into the back of me" expression, or that's what I always think it is on the back of her car. But it looks like Rita is letting Hippie through. She's taken a slightly wider line through here. Hippie through on the inside, so it's now Mr. Exile, Hippie and Kato. We've got 4 TCSRL runners in 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. In fact, Sergeant Chaos for TCSRL running 12th as well. Let's just go on to the one I referred to as the fan cam, the one where you can see these cars as if you're watching them on the television. We come down into the chicane here. Rita just using a bit of the grass on the way in, just a touch of grass being thrown up on the way out. Over the hill, she's going to sweep around to the left hand side and then deep on the brakes, pick up the tighter of the 2 chicanes. Second gear on the exit, hard on the power, up into 3rd, 4th gear, down the hill. Going to be watching for this faster chicane. Careful on the grass on the way out. Nicely done. Nicely done. These TCSRL guys running really, really nicely together. And up front, we've got Jack Kobe out in the lead at the moment. Looks like he may well have a back marker ahead of him. Looks like it's Dong he is closing down on at the moment. Welsh Boy in 2nd at the moment. I think that's going to stay that way for the moment, because it looks like Jack is away down the road. I can see another car between them. Lag again. These guys just gapping each other quite a fair bit at the moment by a few seconds. So we've got Welsh Boy. It's going to be what, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 seconds ahead of Lag, as we saw his NSR getting very, very loose across the curb just then as I was counting up. So yeah, so about 3, 4, 5 seconds between some of these guys at the moment. They are now in a position where they can be pushing qualifying laps. No defending to worry about. They've got no slipstream or anything at the moment, so these are just lap times that they are going to be doing themselves. Jacoby is going to be thinking about pitting very soon. His tyres are low, his fuel is blinking at the moment, and he's running in low 124s. Welsh Boy, on the other hand, is flying. He's on racing medium tyres. The fuel is looking good, and he's down in the 122s. For lap 26, we've got a 122.6, and for lap 27, we've got a 122.7. So Jacoby, the 124s. Welsh Boy, the 122s. What is going on with PSR at the moment? And Lag is in the 122s. He did a 123.3 in the last one, but Lag, he can work with Kato now. Teammates, slipstream, Kato getting the blue flags, but these guys are all on a party chat. They're all talking to each other, and I do wonder whether Kato and Lag are going to play the team game. We'll just stay on board with Lag for the moment as Kato comes across the line to start his next lap. Lag will start lap 29, Kato on lap 28. I think Kato just jumped into the pits actually. I think we've lost him for the moment. Lag is now chasing... Oh no, maybe he didn't. Maybe he's still there. I can't quite see with this view. Yeah, Kato is up there. Oh, Kato bins it. Puts it onto the grass there. So unfortunately, Laggy's going to lose his slipstream there. But Laggy's now clear to run. We've got Jacoby in first. Welsh Boy in second, both for PSR. Lag for TCSRL in third. Gamer Dan for PSR in fourth. Teammate Greg White in fifth. And then just behind them, we've got Exile, Hippie, and we can just see Borky in the frame there as well. So I think Mr. Exile is looking to pull a lap on Borky at the moment. Borky racing for PSR in the black and green car, the blue flags flying. So Mr. Exile with Hippie behind. Going to have a slipstream. Looks like Borky's just pulled to the side there, letting those two cars through. Very respectful. Serving the blue flags. So no hindrance to Mr. Exile there and Hippie. Both going very, very nicely together. We've got Jacoby has dived into the pits. He's losing his hard tyres and staying with the hard tyres. Almost a full tank fill there. So Jack is just working different strategies there. I'm a bit surprised that so much fuel went in. Maybe he's working for track position or something here. Maybe he's seeing a slipstream or something that he can do. Or maybe he just wants to come round and have a bit of a battle with Lag. But I think Lag is way down the track at the moment. I don't know the distances. Yeah, Lag is like, oh, probably 20-30 seconds down the road at the moment. He doesn't need to pit. He's going rather nicely as well. And just looking at the map at the moment, the only real battle is between Mr. Exile and Hippie, teammates running together. So not a lot to worry about at the moment. There's no real battles. As we can see, there is another car in the pits at the moment. That is going to be Dong in the pits right now. But out front, it is Welsh Boy by some considerable margin, although that margin has evaporated. Maybe it was Jacoby I was looking, who was further apart, not realising that Lag was in the middle. I'm just having to double check myself at the moment because Welsh Boy is running 123, 123, 124. Lag running a 122, 123, 123. So Lag is closing at the moment on Welsh Boy. Their tyre and fuel position is practically identical. The difference, Welsh Boy in the Lexus, Lag in the Honda. But tyres and fuel identical for these two guys. Lag can see Welsh Boy on some of these corners now, I am sure, if we just jump on board with him. Let's just see if Lag can see. He can there as we come down into the chicane. Welsh boy just exiting the last corner. Lag driving beautifully. Oh, a little bit of correction there as we went on the power. He's desperate to get on the power to try and continue to close that lap. That lap. 123 from lag on that one, and a 123.9 for Welsh boy. So 123.9 for Welsh boy, a 123.6 for lag. So only a few tenths of a second gain in there, and Jack Kobe a 123.0. So Jack Kobe closing by half a second to these two up front at the moment, and Jack Kobe will be able to see lag as we're going through the S's. He'll also know that he is quicker on these racing hard tyres at the moment, whereas the racing medium tyres for lag are going off a little bit at the moment. Likewise for Welsh boy, it looks like he's got a little bit of a slide into that tight left-hander. He's going to come down. Let's just watch him through this chicane. A little bit more cautious than I have seen in recent laps. So I think Welsh boy just taking a little bit careful. Is he going to dive into the pits this time? We'll wait and see. We will wait and see. He is going to pit. Is lag going to dive in too? He will see. He's going to risk it. He's going for another run around. So his tyre and fuel low, but he has got another lap in there. Welsh boy into the pits. Jack Kobe just lapping somebody behind. Not quite sure who that was, just as we cut to Jack Kobe's car. But Jack Kobe, powered by Kobe Juice. We often say that. Oh, Jack Kobe having a little bit of a nudge from Kato there. So Kato giving Jack Kobe a little bit of a helping hand through there. Kato's running 14th, Jack Kobe in 2nd. I wonder why Jack was slow through there, or is it just a natural place where that Nissan in the hands of Kato is quick? We haven't seen much of the back markers at the moment. Borky running in 16th for PSR. He's looking good on the racing hard tyres. Fuel situation also good, so it looks like he may well have pitted recently. Although we've got Rita coming around in, I think she's in 6th, if I can just read that very quickly. We're just concentrating on Borky at the moment, but Rita hunting down Borky to try and see if she can use the slipstream and make something of that one. Then we've got Dong, who is, he's got Greg White behind him. Bit confused there on what happened. It looked like Greg was going very, very, very slowly, but Dong in 15th. He's got the blue flags flying at the moment, so I think the Greg will come through fairly quickly. Not quite sure where Greg is going to choose his moment. Dong just being a little bit careful through the chicane there, bouncing across the curbs nicely, but everything all okay. Greg White just closing up as we get into the final corner. Dong is going to see that Greg White is behind him. He's got the blue flags. Is he going to put over and let him through? Is he going to be pushing hard just to try and slow up Greg White to maybe slow him, pushing back into the slower cars that he's racing with at the moment? Obviously nobody behind him at the moment, but there are team tactics in this one. Dong could be running a tactical game here and just keeping Greg White behind. The blue flags are flying low, so if it was Grand Prix, he would, the Formula One, he would have been on a flag at the moment. And Greg trying desperately hard to get by, puts it onto the grass again. We've seen him do that once or twice in this race. Again, the blue flag still flying, but again, Dong just holding that place, looking at the wing mirrors saying, "Come on, Greg, when are you going by me? You're in the quicker car. What's happening? I'm keeping you behind." And Greg thinking, what have I got to do to get by here? Come on, Greg, do it for PSR. Make it happen. But you can see that Greg is getting backed up into lag. Is this, oh! Dong losing it as he goes through the chicane there. But was he playing a blinder of a game there? Was he backing up Greg White into lag? I think that may well have been the case, because Lag now right on the back bumper almost of Greg White. Will run on board with Lag here as we go into the first corner, and I would say less than a second, and Lag is going to have some slipstream here. So team play from TCSRL, all fair, nothing wrong with that. One car potentially sacrificing the lap a little bit maybe, but Greg couldn't find his way through, and that has enabled Lag to close up and get onto the back. How are we looking at tyres and fuel for these guys? Well, Lag has got fresh mediums and just over half a tank of fuel. Greg White on the racing hard tyre, very little fuel and very little tyre. So again, was he using up his tyres to get past Kato? Was Kato, or was it Dong? I can't remember who it was now. I'm getting so excited by this race. I think it was Dong, wasn't it? Just holding up Greg White, and that has now put Lag right on the back. We've got nice new medium tyres up against very, very worn tyres. Is Greg going to dive into the pits this time, or is he going to continue to circle around? If he does, I think he's going to get mugged. It looks like he is diving into the pits. He is. That means that Lag will resume third place behind Welsh Boy, but he's running very, very, very nicely at the moment through these S's. We're just on board with him. He's on the racing medium tyres, and they are looking very nice indeed at the moment. Half a tank of fuel, so he can just keep on pushing at the moment. He's got a car between him and Jack Kobe. Jack Kobe, what, 1, 2, probably about 7 or 8 seconds ahead of Welsh Boy at the moment. Greg White still sitting in the pits, so it looks like he's just exited now. And there's a few little few places where cars are running together, and we've just got Mr. Exile with a 3-second penalty there. I'm not sure whether that was an incident on track. He's old timer there. Oh no, old timer dropped it just as Exile was behind. I don't know whether there was a touch or netcode or anything there, but old timer just rejoining. He's going to be overtaken by me. I went through to take 11th place there, and old timer with a spin on that corner. It is a place where a lot of people do spin. It's got damage on the front, hard tyres, and he's got me in front. I think old timer was running better than I was in this one. My racing hard tyres, very, very new, and half a tank of fuel. But you can see that old timer is closing all of the time on me right now. We've got Mr. Exile in 10th, I'm in 11th, old timer 12th, and Wheels Racing 13th. Just a little bit behind, not a lot. He's watching this battle just out in front, and he's got blue flags flying. And Kato, it looks like Kato's a bit further back, so it looks like there is a leader that is coming through. Old timer just sounded like he bogged down off the corner there as Wheels Racing went through. I'm not quite sure what that was about. We've got racing medium versus racing hard tyres. Will just getting a little bit sideways, I think, on the exit of that corner too, as we go down to this tight of the 2 chicanes, or what I refer to them as. So I just come around to take the final corner. Wheels Racing just behind me, and then old timers. This is 11th, 12th and 13th. Just behind we've got Kato, and letting Lag through. So Kato just being lapped there. I don't know if he's been helping Lag. We'll find out in a moment. Oh, Kato with a big old slide as he dives into the pits to get rid of those racing hard tyres. And then Dong, he's going okay. He's going to be running around again. He's running 15th. And Borky with no tyre on the front there. He's going to have to come in. He's running 16th at the moment. And you can see just ahead the TCSRL guy going around as Borky dives into the pits. Jacoby will just ride on the follow cam with Jacoby at the moment. He's coming up on Drac Fury. So this, I don't think it will he be lapping? I think he will, won't he? He will. Yes, he will. He'll be lapping the 10th place runner at the moment. His racing hard tyres looking perfectly okay, fuel looking fine. Just threading it through the chicane there. Not taking any chances on the curbs or the grass at the moment. Just taking it nice and easy. He's doing 123s. So we've got a 123.6, 123.2, 123.2, 123.6. So keeping it nice and consistent. And just holding back from the two cars in front. Maybe he's just enjoying watching the race. But we've got Welsh Boy just a little bit behind at the moment. Welsh Boy doing a 124 for lap 38. His tyres are half worn, feel fine, but he can keep pushing at the moment. He's running in second place right now with Jack Kobe out front. Just picking up a slipstream off of the two cars in front of him. Or that is a difference, I think, between the faster and the slower cars. Welsh Boy in 6th gear, not putting a wheel in the curb there. I was in 5th gear, putting a wheel just to pull the car around. But you can see how Welsh Boy closing up on me at the moment. And I know at this point I was feeling the nerves and thinking, I've got to let him through. I can't get in the way of one of our front runners. I do not want to be pushing them back towards lag at all. But then obviously I've got to think, once Welsh Boy's through, then I have got lag as well. So we are at 56 minutes run at the moment. We're on lap 39. Out front it is Jack Kobe by some reasonable distance. You can see that we have got a couple of cars up front. The TCSRL on the inside. Jack Fury in the PSR car on the outside. Sweeps to the inside. Can't quite get that move made at the moment. And Jack Kobe just settling back, enjoying watching this one at the moment. We've got Welsh Boy using me for slipstream at the moment as we get into the closing stages of this race. Welsh Boy well into the 123s now. Lag running in 122s on very, very nice looking medium tyres. These guys are going to be taking these tyres to the end. So we've got racing hard for Kobe, racing medium for Welsh Boy. Lag is on racing medium also. Greg White is on racing mediums, but I think that Greg is a little bit further back at the moment. Lag just threading his way through the chicane. We're going to go up the hill. So at the moment it is looking like Jack Kobe out front. Mr. Exile with a half-second penalty at the moment, so that will take the pressure off of Jack Fury up front. We are going to be going for a few more laps. We're at 58 minutes of this 60-minute race. So Jack Kobe's going to get a nice easy pass on Exile. Exile serving that penalty. And then we've got Jack just chasing down Jack Fury. Welsh Boy still going very nicely in second with Lag in third. He can see cars up the front. Still pushing. These guys, they're never going to give up. Never give up. Greg White, as I said, not giving up. Taking a little excursion across the grass again through there. Will he keep it clean through here? Yes, no problems through there for Greg White. Gamer down in 5th at the moment. Being chased by Rita. I think Rita can actually see Gamer down at the moment. So this could be game on towards the end of the lap. Or Gamer down on softs, Rita on mediums. And similar tyre wear. So how much are the soft tyres going to wear in the last minute of this, or last couple of minutes of this race? Hippie in 7th, ahead of Chaos in 8th at the moment. Jack Fury with blue flags waving. He's in 9th, just trying to keep Mr. Exile behind him. But he has got Jack Kobe between him and the competitor car at the moment. So I don't know whether Jack is going to play the team game to play for points. He's certainly got track position to do that if he wants to. But then we've got myself. I'm just trying to get a slip off of Welsh Boy to stay ahead of Old Timer, because Old Timer was chasing me at this point. I remember the nerves. I was setting 124s, 125s, but mostly high 124s, 125s. Likewise, Old Timer 124, 125s as well. Old timer on the hard tyres, I'm on the hard tyres also, similar fuel tyre position, although old timers, as we just jump on board with him, slightly more worn, but still going very, very nicely. And Will's Racing just a little bit behind. He's on brand new soft tyres, so this could be a move. We're on the last lap here. So we've got a few guys that are coming across the line. So Dong and Kato have finished. At the moment, if we just go to the front, we've got Jack Kobe just a little bit sideways with Mr. Exile there. They're not really racing each other, those two, but Mr. Exile's still going for it. But on the lead lap, we've got Jack Kobe, Welsh Boy and Lag. Greg White, Gamer Dan and Rita, 4th, 5th and 6th. They have now crossed the line. Hippie in 7th. Sergeant Chaos is going to come across the line to take 8th. Drac Fury looks like he is going to get 9th ahead of Exile, but he is very, very, very close on the line. We've then got Jack Kobe, who's come across the line in 1st, we just saw there. Welsh Boy for 2nd. And then just a little bit further back, in amongst some traffic, is going to be Lag in 3rd. And those are your race finish for this one. So we have got, let me just go back a second with the replay. Bear with me a second. Okay, so I just jumped forward to the end of the race so we can get the final positions. So we can see that Jack Kobe did come across the line to take 1st position for PSR. Welsh Boy for PSR in 2nd place. And then the first of the TCSRL guys, Lag, coming across the line in 3rd. Greg White got 4th for PSR. Gamer Dan came home in 5th. Rita for TCSRL came across the line in 6th. Hippie in 7th. Sergeant Chaos came in 8th. Drac Fury managed to achieve 9th. Mr. Exile in 10th. I got 11th in this one. Old Timer in 12th. Will's Racing came home in 13th. Dong in 14th with Kato in 15th. And Borky for PSR coming home in 16th place. So your top 3, Jack Kobe was your winner there. Welsh Boy in 2nd. And Lag with a fine 3rd. I hope that you enjoyed this one. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're new around here, please consider subscribing. I've been talking for too long. I can't get my words out right now. And we'll be back with some more lobby racing Monday to Friday. Also with some championship racing with the TCSRL races. I'm in 2 of them on a Tuesday and a Thursday. We've got Hulky is planning a championship race on Wednesday, so it's going to get busy. And we are going to be back with another one of these TCSRL PSR races even in January. I think it's the 2nd of January or something like that. We've got an absolutely amazing race set up. So if you want to know when these races are happening and when I'm streaming them, please hit the bell button for notifications. But for now, I would like to say a huge thank you to everybody at Team TCSRL and everybody at Team PSR for another amazing race. This was the GR2s around Yamigawa. I am Mitchell Morgan. This has been PSR Live, doing a replay on this one, and I will be back with another live commentary video very, very soon. For now, have yourselves a great morning, evening, night, afternoon, day, whatever you're doing, have yourselves a great one, and I will see you very soon. For now, take care. Goodbye. Well, if you jump forward, welcome to probably the best part of this video. This is the outtakes. It's the crashes, the spills, the overtakes, and we're going to be starting off with what caused that caution earlier on in the race. It was all about Will's Racing. It wasn't his fault, but he got really caught up in a huge incident that involved a lot of cars. We will look at it in slow motion at the moment, but you can see that he winds up on the grass. He then spinning around, he gets clobbered a couple of times, and well, yeah, that one threw out the caution. So here in slow motion, we're coming down towards the the very fast right-hander where a lot of people will hook up the inside of the curb. Wills goes just a tiny little bit deep into that corner, which then gives Hippie a look up the inside, and there's a tiniest rub there. No blame to be apportioned in this, a pure racing incident, and it does happen around here, but that did send Wills just a little bit wide, and then Chaos comes around and gives him a good old clout because Hippie had hit Chaos. So it was a real ping pong ball, this one into another and then into another, but unfortunately Wills off on the grass there. He then comes back across the track. He splits the two TCSRL guys, but unfortunately he comes back across towards the barrier again, and Drat Fury collects him, pushing him along the barrier, and then it's just a case of Wills with an opposite lock trying to gather it up on the grass to get back onto the racetrack with a little bit of a help from the barrier. We can actually see this from the follow cam from a few of the racers, and it really does show how this one unfolds. But poor Wills, his first team versus team race or league versus league race with PSR, and he gets completely outed in this one. So we're coming around the first corner to go into the S's, and he's running really nicely here. He's got Kato and Mr. XL just up in front. Mr. Hippie in VR and Sergeant Chaos behind, so he's deep in the middle of the TCSRL guys, coming down to this fast right-hander. He just gets a little bit of a wobble on the curb, and then he gets a little bit of a nudge wide from Hippie, which then enables the door open for Sergeant Chaos to come through the middle. Then he splits the TCSRL guys. You can see Drat Fury just getting into the side of him. And, well, that was it from Wills' point of view. On board with Sergeant Chaos now, he was the one that was in the middle and that absolutely offed Wills, but you're going to see there's absolutely nothing that he could do either. You can see the Hippie and Wills are just getting into each other just ahead, and then Sergeant Chaos gets a beautiful run through here. The track opens up, he goes for the gap, but the gap disappears. Hippie gets into him, and then Wills gets pummeled off by Sergeant Chaos. Chaos causing chaos on track, as we can see from Gamer Dan here. So Dan is following Sergeant Chaos, and both these guys got a beautiful run through here. Dan just backing off slightly, but you can see how the three cars, three wide, are never going to work through there. And then this is just on board with me, but this is more about my little tangle with Drat Fury over here. I get off on the grass, hit Drat Fury, knock him sideways. I get a half-second penalty, and you could see just a little bit further up Drat Fury in amongst the TCSRL guys here, and he's actually going to catch Wills Racing. That is the T-bone that pummels Wills Racing down the track a little bit further. And then I went through, and obviously that caution is again called. A little bit later on, this is a view of Jack Kobe getting it off onto the grass and letting Lag through. This is how Lag managed to get first place from Jack Kobe. Jack Kobe unusually right off the racing line there onto the curb and the grass. This one is Rita. I think this one's doing a move on Kato into the first corner. And then Kato with a slight little nudge and saying, thank you, I will have that one back. And through she goes. This one is Borky and Wills just getting into each other. Wills having a heck of a race here. Borky and Wills, the PSR guys are having an argument now. It's not all about TCSRL. Borky and Wills having a little bit of a ding-dong there. They're still running, but how on earth Wills didn't get sent to the shadow realm there again, I really do not know. And the best of friends, Borky just letting Wills through respectfully on the straight there, which is something that we do. Here's some more action. This is where TCSRL and PSR were deep into each other. Cars here, there and everywhere on the track, just showing how close this racing is when the two communities come together. It is exhilarating to be in amongst the pack when you're doing this. A little bit of door bumping there from Drat Fury, I think, against one of the TCSRL guys. I don't quite know who that was. I think it was Sergeant Chaos possibly in there again, but there's so much action, it's hard to keep up. But it's all friendly, and we're just on board with Hippie here. He's running in VR, and you can see how these four TCSRL guys are running so close together. Greg White just off the back of this. But for corner after corner in these GR2 cars, they are so tight together. A beautiful sight as I come over the hill and down to that fast left-hander where we saw the caution incident earlier on. No such drama on this occasion. Kato, I think, just giving a few paces back to Exile and Hippie, who were running a bit quicker at the time, and Greg White says, thank you, I'll have some of that as well. And then just Kato all jumping across the chicane and into the grass there, and then the barrier. That was a nasty old hit. We'll take another little look at that. So we got on board with Kato now, coming down to the, this is the build up to this one, I think. So Kato was nicely out front, just using quite a bit of the curb there, and Exile got a bit of a run as Kato went a tab wide. I think that's why he was letting his teammate through. Then we went down through the S's, and Kato just getting shuffled to the back a little bit. We've got Exile on the grass there as well. And then as we go down the hill, beautiful scenes these. We're on board with Exile now, just following through. It wasn't actually the Kato incident. The Kato incident was at the bottom of the hill here. Just loving the way that these guys are running together. Exile just cutting the corner there and getting away with it. And Kato now, we will jump on board, going through here. Just gets on the curb there, it slings the back end of the car around into one barrier, into the other barrier, and then across in the grass, and then just recovering and lost quite a few places in that one. This is on board with me. You can just see Kato sliding around there as well, but it's not just Kato that is having issues. I did as well. I'm up against Drap Fury here. We're going into the tight chicane, and I just almost get into the back of Drap Fury. I had to back out of that, and I put myself onto the grass. A complete solo effort on my part. I just outbroke myself. Thought I was going to take Drap Fury out, but thankfully I didn't. Put it onto the grass there, and then managed to carry on, tucking in behind Old Timer with Wheels Gaming and Borky just behind me. So it just goes to show I'm not picking on everybody else. I'm a bit of a womble sometimes too, and cause my own problems. So the next little overtake that we're going to be looking at is Welsh Boy. We're on board with Welsh Boy. I'm going to assume that this is a move on Gamer Dan, who is in first place at the moment, just coming up to the start-finish line. Gamer Dan had a lovely run out of that first corner. Well, actually the last corner as we go down to the first corner is where the move is going to get done. He's got the inside line. I think Dan knew that Welsh Boy was absolutely flying around here. When we did the practice, Welsh Boy was 20 seconds ahead and absolutely flying, so I think that Dan may well have let Welsh Boy through. But again, Welsh Boy flying, with Dan in second and Lag in third. We'll jump onto another one. This is a couple of moves by Jack Kobe, I think. Jack just again coming around that really fast left-hander. He's got Lag. The two alien racers going together, going down the hill. Is he going to make a move through the chicane? He goes for the inside. My word, he's got that done. Lag gave him some room, but Jack Kobe did manage to get that move done through there. That was audacious, and it just goes to show the trust that these guys have between each other. Again, we're on board with Jack Kobe. This time he's going to make a move on Gamer Dan, his teammate, but he's got Lag tight behind. Lag just getting it onto the grass a little bit there. That has made him drop back a little bit, but Jack Kobe is right on the back bumper of Gamer Dan here. A nice, relatively easy pass. I was going to say, wasn't there a nudge on the way through there? Did Jack Kobe say, "Oi mate, I'm coming through"? But he didn't need to do that anyway, because Gamer Dan dives into the pits. Right, we're on board with Old Timer now for a little bit more action. I think we've got a spin coming up here in the exit of the dreaded hairpin. So Old Timer tucked up behind Sergeant Chaos, and he gets a little bit of dirty air, I think, and just a little gentle spin onto the grass. He's just letting the other guys go through. A lovely little power spin to slide it around, and he will join behind me and just in front of Don in this one, and away he goes. Another one. This is Kato again. Kato in his favourite little bit through the chicane. He managed to hold that time. He's got dirty tyres. This time he's got half a second penalty as well for coming out of that and then into the dreaded hairpin. Is he going to power down and slide it? No, he's fine. He's going well through there. So what are we watching for? We're going to come down to the fast chicane. Is he going to be on the grass this time? It is. He just gets onto the curb. Oh, and it absolutely throws him around. the curb being very, very, very unkind to Kato through there. So half-second penalty on one of the chicanes. He jumped across the grass and got away with it. Unfortunately, on the curb and the grass in the second one, he got thrown around. We're on board with Gamer Dan for this one. This is another overtake. We are just coming up to all the pits, I think, this one. This one is Jack Kobe in the pits. So Gamer Dan is going to manage to jump Kobe in the pits. And we see it just swoops across the front of Kobe. Nicely done. Nothing wrong with that. But Gamer Dan just goes a little bit wide there. Jack Kobe getting a run and a slipstream through the S's here. This looks like it's going to be a take back. Gamer Dan just indicating there to say, Kobe, go through on the right-hand side. Jack Kobe does go through on the inside. And that is a team swap for positions for Jack Kobe to jump into third and Gamer Dan in fourth. So on this one, we've got, what are we looking at? We're on board with Jack Kobe. I think this is just that same move by the looks of things. As we're coming down into the S's, we're just seeing this from Jack Kobe's point of view on the fan cam and just seeing that little move made there by the two teammates, which released Jack Kobe to carry on. So we're on board with Hippie for this one. Hippie and Rita, it looks like. So Rita just in front at the moment with Hippie behind. What have we got here? Oh, Hippie! Oh, he's going around just like his teammate Kato did. Just getting a little bit too much of the curb on the grass. And then that curb, you just get it up onto the curb and it's almost like the car is lifted off the ground and around it goes. So Hippie doing a Kato there. And then Sergeant Chaos and Old Timer joining Hippie. Right, we are on board with Gamer Dan now with Rita. Oh no, let me just... Drak Fury we're on board with. Oh, Drak Fury almost dropping it there on the same little exit curb, or one of the curbs. Was it that one? I think it was. But Drak Fury is off into the grass there, and I'm just getting into the back of Drak Fury to give him a little bit of a bump. So you can see it's not just the TCSRL guys that are dicing with the curbs and the grass. There were plenty of the PSR guys doing that as well. And on that instance, that was Drak Fury getting caught out. We're back with the overtakes now. So we join Lag out in first place with Jack Kobe behind, Gamer Dan in third, Welsh Boy fourth and Greg White in fifth. And we are just coming, oh, that's Lag into the pits. Lag with a very, very late pit stop. This is lap 33 with just a minute or so to go. So Lag had to pit from the lead. I thought he had this won initially when I was watching the initial replay. You can see that Lag is in the pits, and while he's in there, Jack Kobe gets a lovely, easy overtake to take the lead. And unfortunately for Lag, I think Welsh Boy goes through as well. He's still in the pits, waiting for that fuel to fill. And then Welsh Boy goes through, and unfortunately Lag, with Gamer Dan jumping into the pits for a late stop as well. Unfortunately, Lag dropping down from what I thought was a win to fourth there. So very, very unfortunate for a late pit stop, and that did give Jack Kobe the win. Welsh Boy second, Greg White third, Lag fourth, and it looks like Rita came home in fifth ahead of Gamer Dan in sixth. But there we go, that is this video. I hope that you enjoyed the live replay commentary, even though it wasn't particularly live, and I pushed the outtakes to the back to bring them together so that we had a nice run with the commentary. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new around here, please subscribe in, and I have been Mitchell Morgan, and I will be back with another one of these commentary videos very, very soon. For now, take care. Goodbye.